It is a lovely day for working on a van build. I've been out here cutting wood and it's finally getting hot, but to be honest, the weather has been a lot nicer the past couple days. I had a really wonderful time with my sister and her husband and their son at a county park, actually. I was gonna say a state park, but actually it's a county park near Mount Dora, which is a little bit north of Orlando. We had a really nice time yesterday. I really super needed the break. So when I got back today, I unloaded the bed and everything except Forrest's kennel because it's pinned down in there. And I think when Andy comes, we're actually going to be sleeping in the van for a few days. So leaving that so that Forrest can sleep with us, but took down everything around the bed area except for the side rails and started working on the paneling that goes behind the wheel wells. And on this side where the batteries are, I'm going to need Andy's help to get those out so I can fit this panel in behind, but they're both cut. This one is pre-primed. I'm using the plywood that I have, so this is 3/8 inch plywood and it came pre-primed. The other piece is 1/4 inch plywood, which is a little bit more flexible, and I'm hoping, because I'm having to flex that one to get in behind the wheel well tabs, my plan is to actually put it in behind here and attach it this way. Then I'll have a piece of wood vertical there and some panels in front of these pieces, and that's just to kind of even out the levels, different levels of different depths of support throughout the van. So anyway, I'm hoping that when Andy gets here and we take the batteries off, that we can get that board in behind, even though it's probably not quite as flexible, and then get those attached. And for the first panel that I did, it's upside down. It's going to go in here on the passenger side. And you may have noticed that a lot of my insulation has come down. Some of it fell as I was driving up to the campsite. It was just lightly spray glued because I thought that I was going to get siding done a lot faster than I did. But at this point, I'm pulling it down and then I'll put it back in as I put that panel in. And then I've got a lot more to do. I need to fill up all of those holes and in this area, but I wanted to make sure my wiring was done first. So got my fingers crossed that I'm going to be able to get a lot of this done this week, but so far I seem to be expecting more than I'm able to do. To make those panels, I went ahead and created a template. I bought a bunch of this contractor paper, knowing that I would want to use it to cover the floor, and it's come in very handy for templates. We used it to make the template for the floor so that we could do the subfloor, and I've covered the floor with it to protect it. On top of the green stuff is protective plastic that's sticky, and then I put paper down on top of it just for an extra layer, which is making me really happy because as I'm working in here, I'm not worried about destroying my lovely floor. But it was great for making patterns and templates. I used it to make the patterns for all of the window covers, and I used it for this. So it's coming in very handy, and it's a lot easier to make mistakes on basically construction paper before you make mistakes on wood, especially because lately the price of lumber has been skyrocketing.
Yeah, puppy dog. Unless you want to go out there and get warm.
I don't think he needs to get warm. Forrest, why don't you stay inside where it's cool?
Forrest, come on, Forrest.
Inside, buddy.
That's it.
Inside. See you later. I have wondered as I've watched some other van builds about whether I should prime my furring strips for the interior for the framing. And I'm not sure, but for panels like this that are plywood, especially if they're going to be in the garage and there's possibility of moisture, I figure it makes sense to go ahead and prime them. And I'm actually going to paint the face side white, just so dirt shows, I guess. Just because I feel like it would be a little bit more of a thorough approach. So putting on the keels now, and then when they're done later today, hopefully this evening when it's cool, I'll be able to do the final coat and get them all installed tomorrow. When I talked to my brother-in-law about the bed frame, which you saw in the van the other day, he agreed that it's not going to be sturdy enough. So I got a couple of 1x4s that I can do on the front and the back to take additional support. And I'm also getting ready to cut some wood that's going to go from end to end on each frame to give it structure. So each frame will be a nice square, solid, cohesive piece, and then I can put the hinge in between, and with the 1x4s on the front and back, I'm hoping that will be enough. Chris recommended that I do more. He's an engineer, but me being a non-professional thinks I might know better. Not really, but I do want to try to go a little bit more streamlined. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those pieces here just now and get all that bed stuff put together. So there are my support pieces. You can see that they're not perfectly straight. I'm still learning how to use my circular saw. So welcome back. It's Sunday afternoon. I took my parents to church this morning, and I'm waiting for Andy to arrive this afternoon. I think he got a little bit of a late start because poor guy's got a migraine. He's still driving 8 hours to come see me and spend some time with my family and help with the build, the ceiling, the floor, everything. Well, the floor, no, everything but the floor. So he's going to come help me out, and I'm excited because I have been making a little bit of progress on some kind of odds and ends jobs today. Let me show you what I've done. Since I want to go ahead and get the bed in pretty soon, I made these panels yesterday to go in front of the garage walls, and I put a support piece inside right behind the wheel well there to attach it. And I've also actually attached it to the wheel well, which is a little bit hard to see. You can see the screw there, but I didn't tighten it too much because I didn't want to pull the panel out too far. Eventually I will have a piece there in front of the board, and then also another piece here in front of the board, kind of a trim piece slash furring strip that's going to cover that. And I also need to do a little bit of detail work around that box. But right now I'm in the process of installing the wheel well box for the water tank, and I did have to move this over. I originally had it going back a little bit, but because of the position of the 2x4 for the bed, this had to come forward. And I'm going to have to go ahead and also put some support pieces along here to give it a little extra support, probably 3, one on each side and one in the middle. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to get done right now. And then I think I might actually go back to the bed, which I can show you from a distance here. I did get the frames with the slats. Oh, you can't see them. Let's go for a walk. Here we go. I got the slats and the frames put together. I did go ahead and cut little pieces of plywood yesterday. I think I showed you that, and those go on the ends just to give the whole frame a little bit more stability as a square. I added some extra screws along each side, so now it's really, if you can see, a more cohesive panel. And I've got the hinge there that I'm going to add in between, and then I've got some 1x2s that I think I'm going to use for the frame for more stability, but I will show you that when I get to it. Right now I'm going to go ahead and get that water tank installed. Or correction, not the water tank, the support for the water tank. Okay, I seem to be able to find plenty of things to be frustrated with about my own work. I've got the panel here. I've got the wheel well box on, and based on the floor contour, it's back about as far as it can go. I might possibly be able to get it a little bit more, but I pushed it as I was installing it, and I know it's tall enough, but I really had hoped that this space would be kind of closed up, most of it anyway. So, I don't know. I would like to be doing better. And I do know I sound grumbly. I apologize, but the good news is that the tank does fit perfectly in the position now that I've moved the top over, and I just need to go ahead and fit those supports in the front. So that's good. I would really like to be able to go ahead and install the panel behind the batteries today, but I don't think that's in the cards because Andy's not going to be here till probably dinner time, and I can't move those batteries myself. They are 75 pounds a piece. And the cases are bolted down, but the batteries can lift out. Yeah, more than I've got in me. So I'm going to go ahead and just work on the bed. I am laying out the bed now and figuring out the positioning for the piano hinge. What I'm going to do is go ahead and align this to this side and do the screws on this side, and then come back and do the other side, and then allow enough space in between. It's kind of hard to see, but in between for the hinge to move freely. Okay, this piano hinge has a ton of holes, as you can see, and it did come with these little teeny tiny screws, which I think will be fine, particularly when I can go through the hinge and into the wood, through the hinge, through the aluminum and into the wood. Hey, my helper dog, don't eat screws. Make sure it's going the way I want it to. Now it's got to go this way. Not like the way that it's doing. I don't like these screws. Well, I decided that the screws that came with the hinge were crap, so I went and grabbed these screws, which I thought might work a little bit better. and they also seem like they might be crap, and then I realized that maybe the problem is me. So it's possible that the hole that I'm using, the 3/32 drill bit, maybe is a little too small. So this one is 7/64. I'm gonna try this and then maybe go up one more notch if I need to. And yeah, just like everything, doing it for the first time, it's all trial and error. So, all right, diving in again. I don't know if it's me or Ryobi tools. I really don't. Why on earth does the drill bit lock up every single time you go to drill? That's not the point. The point is that you put it in and you drill a hole and you take it out. All right, let's see, just for kicks, if one of these new screws will go in. And I know the hinge isn't on there, I'm just testing. Oh, come on. This is not gonna go together because... All right, what I just realized is that this thickness here is going to interfere with the hinge. So I should have put the hinge on the other side so that it would go like this. That's in use. So I need to undo everything I just did.